A wealthy man develops a telepathic link with a giant snake after being attacked by it. Sound cool? Because I'm here to talk about Spasms from 1983. This film was directed by William Fruet, a Canadian director with a very varied career, kind of working on both feature-length films and TV series going back to like the early 70s. And it stars the always cool Peter Fonda and co-stars Peter Fonda's glasses, Oliver Reed, and Kerrie Keane. Jason Kincaid, played by Oliver Reed, goes on a hunting trip with his brother in Micronesia when they're both attacked by a huge giant snake. I always find it kind of funny when hunters are killed by animals. Sorry. Just ironic, I guess. Anyways, Jason survives, but his brother does not. And now Jason is having visions of everyone that is killed by the snake due to some kind of link that they now share. So he's going to try and help the authorities capture the snake with the help of Tom Brazilian, a psychiatrist and ESP researcher. And there's also a satanic cult that are like interested in the snake since they believe that it is more than just an animal. Spasms was based on the 1979 novel Death Bite. What a name there. Written by Michael Merrick and Brett Monahan in an attempt to chase the success of Jaws. I mean, everything about this movie just seemed to be kind of a mess. Really, I mean, to put it lightly. They originally had a 14-foot snake lined up before settling on animatronics for whatever reason. And the robot snake was built as quickly and as cheaply as possible. And I guess it shows because you barely see the thing. I mean, he's got like maybe less screen time than Boba Fett had in all the Star Wars films. And when you do see it, like it's in short bursts, which is obviously because nobody was confident with how it looked on screen. My opinion, it really doesn't look that bad. I mean, especially for the time, but whatever. I mean, even in some scenes where it's like attacking people, you don't see it at all, which is just weird. You just see like people thrashing around, and it's kind of stupid, I guess. Most of the death scenes are pretty unimpressive, again, likely due to budgetary constraints, but there are a few pretty cool gruesome scenes, well, one in particular. Legendary makeup artists Dick Smith and Stephen Dupuis were hired for the gore effects, so I do think that there was care put into this film, but it was just kind of hindered by a low budget. Some people can make a great movie on a low budget, but that's a skill that not everyone has, and sadly this just ultimately is not a very good film. The authors of the book were not impressed with all the changes that were made, and director William Fruet did not like the look of the snake when it was in scenes with other, with people. I guess, I assume he thought it looked okay by itself. And like I said, I especially for the time, I think it looks all right. I think he should have had maybe a little bit more confidence in the snake, because I mean, I think the film is I think it hurt the film him not wanting to show it. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents right there. The script went through several rewrites. Numerous directors jumped ship during pre-production, and Peter Fonda was quoted as saying, they couldn't figure out how to end the damn film. So yeah, there you go. But I mean, at the end of the day, they finished it. Movies aren't easy to make. I mean, so I hear. But like I said, it just isn't very good. I think the lack of seeing the snake killed it for me the most. And the satanic cult thing was cool to me. I mean, of course I would like that. But not fleshed out at all, which made me wonder why they even bothered introducing them. I really only liked a few scenes near the end, especially the one where one of the characters is killed by the snake and his entire body like swells up from the venom. That was pretty sick. And I'll remember that, but the rest, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the acting is solid. Peter Fonda is always cool. And Oliver Reed had a super cool mustache, but Fonda criticized his end fight with the snake. Overall, I mean, I think the third act is pretty solid. The first act had potential with the satanic cult thing, but that all just kind of fell apart. As I said, I mean, this thing was a disaster, and it really is amazing that it was finished. I'm sure it's a cult classic to some people, but to me, it's just far too flawed. Half of it is just mostly boring, and we aren't left with enough to grab onto, in my opinion. I'm giving Spasms a 4.5 out of 10. That's one of the lower scores I think I've given any film that I've reviewed so far. Granted, I haven't reviewed that many. It's still pretty low, but I'd be curious to see if this film has any fans out there. And I'm sure it does, but I mean, I haven't seen it really mentioned much over the years. I could only really recommend this to fans of bad horror films, but even then, I think it's just a little bit too boring for those types, and I like stuff like that. That's my overall opinion. Cheers, guys.